to another episode of the B-Roll Sports Podcast. Today, we are going to be interviewing a very special guest. But before we do that, we have some sponsors to do, so let's get right into it. Our first sponsor is brought to you by 1516 Partners. 1516 Partners is investing today in the small business of tomorrow. Business owners seeking advice on growth, valuation, and future services. Contact 1516 Partners at 913-387-8961 or via email at jjackson@1516partners.com. My newest sponsor is brought to you by right here in Clay Center, Gurney Graphics. Get all your custom apparel at Gurney Graphics. They make custom t-shirts and are available for other custom needs as well. Text 785-447-0228 or email gurneygraphics66@gmail.com. Today, I'm joined by a very special guest, the Clay Center Tigers head football coach, Marc Henry. Besides his love for the Tigers, Coach Henry has also been a longtime fan of the Kansas City Chiefs. I invited him here to talk about the Chiefs and the upcoming Super Bowl. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Bryce. Glad to be here.
I'll start with some fan questions. So I'll start out with, how long have you been a Chiefs fan, and what made you become a Chiefs fan?
So, surprisingly enough, I haven't been a Chiefs fan my whole life. You know, I kind of grew up in the 80s, and I was a big fan of the 49ers, of course, because they were good. So I followed them a lot, and I didn't become a big die-hard Chiefs fan until I was out of college, so probably in the early 2000s.
Okay. What is your earliest memory of being a Chiefs fan?
So I remember the Chiefs back in the day when Joe Montana came to the Chiefs from San Francisco, and then we had a couple good running backs when I was really young, Christian McCoy and Barry Word and Derek Thomas and some of those guys. So lots of good players, but I was really never I liked the Chiefs and I watched the Chiefs, but I really wasn't a diehard at that point in my life yet.
Yeah, I've obviously just been a Chiefs fan my whole entire life, so I've never liked another team really besides the Chiefs. How long have you had season tickets, and what made you decide to get season tickets?
So we had season tickets back in the early 2000s, like in 2004 to 2010, and then we dropped them because the Chiefs just weren't very good at that point. So we dropped them, and then we bought our tickets back in 2000, and it was the 18-19 season, which was Patrick Mahomes' first year as a starter. So we've had our tickets for 7 years. And we bought tickets. We have 2 seats and then share 2 seats with 2 other guys. So, yeah, best decision we've made right now, and enjoyed the fact that we purchased them.
Yeah, I've never actually been to a Chiefs game. Really wanted to go to one, but just never been to one.
I know a guy that would sell you some tickets.
What is your best and worst memory at a home Chiefs game?
So, the best memory was probably, it was the 2020 season, which was the year that we beat the Titans to go to our first Super Bowl. And Kate was with me at that game, and it was just really exciting that they had finally done it. So that's the best one. And obviously, like the last game that we went to was always exciting too, because when to go back. But the first time was one that I'll always remember. And the worst one, oddly enough, back in the early 2000s, there hasn't been many bad home games since we've owned these tickets.
Yeah.
I mean, they did lose to the Bengals in the AFC Championship, 2-3 years ago, which was bad. But one bad one I remember was in, I couldn't tell you the year, it's been too many years ago, but we were really good, and we had, I think it was Jamal Charles at running back and Trent Green. Our offense was awesome, and Peyton Manning, and we hosted a playoff game, and we thought this was our year, we were going to win it. And I don't think we made Indianapolis punt one time, and the final score was like 50-40, and we thought that we were just doomed forever after that. But that game, and then obviously the Bengals game, are probably 2 of the worst games. Yeah.
I know this recent Chiefs team has been really, really good, and a lot of younger fans are really lucky because not very many people get to experience this and what it's like right now.
Well, you'll experience the bad side of it at some point,
I
so
will.
just enjoy it while they're winning.
What is your all-time favorite Chiefs player besides Patrick Mahomes, and why?
So, I've always been a big Travis Kelce fan too, but so my all-time guy, and this would go, I remember a lot of really good times in Arrowhead when Jamal Charles was playing for the Chiefs, and if he rushed for over 2,000 yards one year, and he was just a stud. But he would be, I don't know if I would say he's my all-time favorite, but he was probably one of the players that I enjoyed watching the most. Tony Gonzalez, I used to have a Tony Gonzalez jersey. Would be right up there with Jamal Charles.
Yeah, I'd probably say besides Patrick Mahomes, my favorite player is Travis Kelce.
Yeah, you can't go wrong there.
Yeah. Which team do you dislike the most?
It was the Bengals, but it's the same reason why everyone hates the Chiefs right now. It's because they're winning.
Yeah.
So I always say I didn't like the Bengals because they were good. Now it's probably the Bills, but I don't really have a big hatred for teams. I just love watching football, and I love when the Chiefs win too.
Yeah, mine would probably either be the Bills or the Raiders, one of the two.
But yeah, Raiders would be a tough one.
Both are rivals. Yeah. What was it like going to Super Bowl 54 in Miami back in 2020?
It's something that to me it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I'm so happy I chose to do it and had the opportunity to do it. And I doubt it's something that I'll ever do in my lifetime again, but having the opportunity to do it was neat. And it wasn't even so much the Super Bowl either. There was so much other stuff going on down there with I don't even like interviews and pep rallies and stuff that was really neat leading up to the Super Bowl. So the whole experience was really cool.
I've always wanted to go to the Super Bowl. That'd probably be like top 5 of my all-time places I'd want to go.
Start saving your money, Bryce.
Getting pretty expensive.
It's not cheap.
And what was your favorite memory of that experience going?
Oh, so the favorite memory, if you remember during the game, like the Chiefs were down.
Yeah.
And it's that sequence in the second half, and you've seen like the timeout where Mahomes is talking with help me out, the O coordinator at the time, Eric Bieniemy, about what play they should run, and they hit Tyreek Hill. So, but prior to that, the San Francisco fans were really loud and just like in your face, annoying. And after that play happened, like it just got silent, and the Chiefs fans really took the game over after that. And just when that game kind of flipped right there, it was really cool. And then obviously winning the game was awesome.
I remember watching that, and I remember that was a huge play.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
What makes you more nervous, coaching on the sidelines or watching a Chiefs game?
So I always get nervous on Friday nights, but it normally, once that first kickoff goes and the game starts, I'm normally good to go. But I'm never nervous when I'm at a Chiefs game. When I'm sitting on the couch watching it, I get a little nervous, but I would say coaching on the sidelines is probably more nervous.
I know I play on Saturdays in the morning for flag football. I think I'd probably get more nervous playing than watching. Yeah. It's just kind of.
But once you start, it goes away normally.
Yeah, usually. Yeah. How has watching the Chiefs made you a better high school coach?
Well, when you, as a high school coach, when you watch other good coaches like Andy Reid, like Spagnuolo, Dave Tobe, like those guys, it's, if you take little stuff from them, I've always enjoyed watching like Andy Reid's creativity with their offense, and I'm sure some people probably don't think I get very creative with what we do at the high school, but, I think it's helped me branch out and do a few more things that we normally wouldn't have done in years past. In the last few years we branched out a little bit, but it's just I like watching their creativity.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna go for some Super Bowl questions for this year's Super Bowl. How do you think this year's Super Bowl will be different than the first time the Chiefs and the Eagles play in the Super Bowl like 2 years ago?
Well, I mean it's really two different teams, but I hope that it's no different. I hope that we win, and it's a really good game. But I think it's going to be a lot tougher game for the Chiefs this go around than it was last go around.
I feel like with this team, the Eagles team, I think we might need to not be down in the game and be ahead like the whole game.
Agreed.
I think their team is too good to have an opportunity to come back from being down. How do you think Saquon Barkley has made a difference for the Eagles' offense this year?
Well, like for football teams, like if you have a good running game, it's hard. It's hard for other teams. That is hard for other teams to stop. It makes it difficult because if you can run the ball, it means your O-line's good, and it just puts a lot of stress on everybody else. So having Saquon back there, what were the Giants thinking? Like, why would you?
I don't know.
Right, that would be like us just getting rid of Patrick Mahomes right now,
and just being fine with it.
Yeah, like one of the best running backs I've seen in my life, and just for them to let him go and then to go to the Eagles too. He's a game changer. I mean, he's a generational talent at running back.
Yeah, what really impresses me is he's getting a little up there in the ages, and he's still playing like he's really, really good.
Yeah. He still hurdles over people backwards.
What do you think is the key to stopping Jalen Hurts this game?
So the key to stopping Jalen Hurts, Spags has got to be aggressive still, I think. And I think Jalen's a runner, but our defense has shown that if we just pressure, and Josh Allen was a runner last week too, and we did fine containing him. I just think if Spags stays aggressive but doesn't tip his hand when he's being aggressive, I think if we can keep Jalen Hurts on his toes, that's going to be to our advantage.
Yeah, I think that blitzing a lot. I don't know really how or what offense they're going to or what defense they're going to kind of run, but I bet you it's going to be a lot of blitzes and lots of pressure.
Yeah.
What do the Eagles need to do to win the game if they were going to win it?
I think it's ball control, which goes back to, if we can't stop Saquon Barkley and he's allowed to run the ball a lot, I think that'll give us trouble. So that, to me, if we can't get Saquon stopped, we're going to have trouble winning the game.
I think another thing is going to be like turnovers. I know against the Washington Commanders, Washington had 4 turnovers, I think, and then Eagles only had 1, and all 4 times Eagles returned it back for a touchdown. So
yeah, that's true. Turnovers are big.
For the Chiefs, the Chiefs have a lot of new offensive additions this year, including Hollywood Brown, Kareem Hunt, DeAndre Hopkins, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Xavier Worthy. Who do you think will have the biggest impact in the game?
Well, I just don't see how you can't think it's not going to be Xavier Worthy. He's been really heavily involved the last few weeks, and it was nice seeing him last week against the Bills. Hollywood Brown got involved early, which was great. Juju Smith-Schuster got involved. But I think when it comes down to it, Xavier Worthy's kind of been that consistent guy all year. If those guys can stay involved, Worthy, Smith-Schuster and those other receivers, I think that's going to open it up for Worthy. But, it all comes down to, again, like if the Chiefs can get Kareem Hunt going a little bit, I think it's going to make a big difference too. He's been a big help for us.
And I never feel like Xavier Worthy has a giant game where he has 150 yards receiving. He just makes plays when they need to make plays. And
he's been saving it up for Sunday.
he always comes up big.
Yeah.
What does the defense have to do to be successful?
The Chiefs' defense has just been, to me, as consistent as it can be. They're very solid up front. Linebackers are solid, and getting Jalen Watson back at corner in the secondary to add a little depth back there is just. It all comes down to, Eagles' O-line is the best O-line in the league. Yeah. I feel like our D-line is one of the better D-lines, and it's going to be, and knowing Spagnuolo, I think he's going to go all out and stop the run. So to me, it's going to come down to, can our DBs cover their wide receivers?
Chris Jones is definitely going to have to step up. He always plays well in big games, but I think that our whole entire D-line is going to have to play really well if we want to win against the Eagles.
Agreed.
And what is your score prediction for the game?
Well, I looked. I think the over-under is at 48.5, but I think it's going to go over. I think it's going to be like a Chiefs 34, Eagles 27.
Okay, I was going to go Chiefs 31, Chiefs 31, Eagles 28. Chiefs win. It's definitely going to be a close game, no matter what.
100%.
And what would it mean for the history of the NFL to three-peat as champions?
Well, they would surely go down as the best dynasty ever. I don't know how you could argue with that. I mean, there's been teams that have won. Like the Niners back in the 80s, I think they won 4 Super Bowls in a 10-year span. The Patriots over 2 decades. But, for a team to do it 3 times in a row, no team has ever even gotten to the Super Bowl for the chance to do it. And for the Chiefs to keep it all together. And when you look at the roster, like if they were to win it this year as a three-peat, their dynasty is going to continue with the people they have in place. So they would go down in history as one of the best ever, and I feel fortunate, and you should too, that we're alive to witness it.
Patrick Mahomes, I feel like this would be a huge step to becoming the greatest of all time as quarterback. I don't know if you think that he's better than Tom Brady, or.
Oh, when you have the GOAT conversations, it goes to like Michael Jordan and LeBron comparisons, right? And it's hard to compare. And Tom really was in a similar generation as Patrick, but it's hard to compare guys from different eras. I think if Patrick wins this one, he's still not the Tom Brady status yet. He has 4 Super Bowls, but what the Patriots did over 2 decades, and then for Tom to retire and then go down to Tampa and win down there he's still pretty impressive. Yeah, but Patrick's going to be dang close.
Yeah, I think that he will eventually come over.
I agree.
But I think he still has, probably 5-10 more years. Yeah.
He's just 29. He's got a lot of years left.
Yeah. Like I said, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on, Bryce. Let's pull for the Chiefs Sunday and hope they get a big win.
That was my interview with Marc Henry. I'll see you all in the next one.